show. I'm here with Monique, and she is going to talk about how she used her intuition to cure her migraines. How were your migraines before you cured them, Monique?
So I used to have migraines about 5 times a week, actually.
5 times?
It's horrendous.
How did you have a life?
I didn't, I think I trained myself a lot in resiliency. So I got the migraines when I was about 4 years old, 4.5. Yeah, and they were pretty destructive, I want to say. So what happened was I was born with a kidney disease, and I believe that the medication, the whole stress and everything, had a huge impact on my nervous system, right? And so I used to get these migraines, and it took them 5 years to actually find out what it was. So they all thought it was like something with my eyes, and that in the beginning they said like, oh, it's a little girl, she just wants attention, like she's just pretending. And I'm like, sure, I've got nothing else to do. Just survive the...
I mean, wasn't it painful?
Oh, it was so painful. I knocked out for 7 days straight. Like I would vomit for like 2 days, and there was nothing left, and they would still say like, she's just pretending. I would knock off chairs in the school, in a primary school, and they were like, she just needs attention, don't worry. And they would talk to my mom, and they were like, do you think she has something mentally, like...
Yeah, she has a effing migraine.
And so that was crazy. So when I was about 9, a fantastic doctor, he was like, oh, she has migraines. And my mom was like, oh shit, is that curable? And he's like, no. And she was like, F that, what am I gonna do? And so they didn't really know, because usually they said they find migraines in mid-age women. And barely in men, right? So they didn't really know what to do with a kid. So they just stuffed some painkillers in me.
Did those help?
Not at all.
Oh. Okay. So you're now
but they still did it.
Okay, so you're now age 7 having migraines 5 days a week.
Well, by that time it wasn't 5 days a week, but when I had them, at least like once or twice a month, they were 7 days long sometimes.
Wow.
So it's kind of like the same
How
amount,
did you get
right?
any schoolwork done?
That's a good question. So I actually became really, really efficient without me knowing, which is why my work now today also goes into that. Into the part. So what I was doing was, when I was actually not having too much pain, so the pain scale from 1 to 10, mine was usually about like 100, right? And so that's close.
That's because we want the viewers to see us.
Right. And so what happened is that I used, for example, school breaks to already do my homework. And I used, because I was, by that time still, I was learning super, super fast. And I didn't even need to do anything to be a top student in school. So basically, I was just, when the teachers were talking, I was just doing the homework already, right? So whenever I had pain, I didn't really need to do anything, because I was done already with schoolwork. So I tried to be as productive as possible and use the times where the pain was in the lower end of the scale to just get all of the stuff done.
Well, that's very smart. So what age were you when you finally got some idea how to cure this?
Good question.
Because you were taking all these Western medicines that weren't really doing anything.
It was horrible. So they actually progressed a lot, right? So because they are based on our neural system, but we have 2 different ones, right? So it's the... Now I'm missing the English words. Great.
That's okay. You can use the German words.
No, it's a Anyways, we have 2 nervous systems, but...
The parasympathetic nervous system.
Thanks. Yes, this one. And so the problem is that a lot of people think that the migraines start in the brain, right?
They don't.
No.
Where do they start?
Well, they start in the brain, but the problem is actually more that it's mostly it can be also a deficiency that you have in your microbiome in your gut. So
what's a microbiome? Just for those who don't know, who are
Right.
listening.
So it's a bunch of bacteria and viruses and probiotics and whatever that is in your intestines and between the stomach and the intestines, because basically in the beginning of the intestines, that is the most important thing to help you with anything, basically. Digestive system, with your nervous, it's like the immune system as well. Like it's over 75% of your immune system is where it's coming from as well. And 90% of our serotonin is built in there too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what makes you happy, right?
Exactly. But also, it's what keeps the migraines low.
Oh.
So the people who have migraines, usually, not all of them, but usually, they do have a lack of serotonin. And so what helps you with the medications, for example, that you take for the migraines is a serotonin receptor opener, so that more serotonin can get into the brain, and the brain vessels are going to be open up again.
It is partly a migraine where the blood vessels constrict? Or...
So basically what happens is, I always call it's like an electricity outage in your brain. That's the easiest way to describe it, right? So the vessels go really, really small, and because of the blood pressure in between, they're like all the signals that go to your brain from your nervous system, and it's an overload. It's basically like an outage, and then poof, it's just, and depending in which part of the brain, you can have an aura, you can have like speech impairment, you can have visual impairments, spatial perception impairments, and all this kind of things.
What's an aura mean in this context?
So an aura means, for example, that for me, it starts, for example, I wake up and I feel like my head is in not a screwdriver, but how is it called that you...
A vice?
Is it a vice that goes...
Where it squeezes it?
Yeah, a vice. Oh, great. Like a vice. For other people, and also for me, for example, I can't see properly anymore. Like everything is blurry. You see little stars blinking. It's hard.
Are you sure you didn't drink too much alcohol?
Yeah, I don't drink for 8 years.
You don't drink?
No.
Okay.
I'm having green tea. I'm not sure if that's too much, though. So yeah, but to your question, the age that I found out, so when I was 19, I had the heaviest migraine attack of my life, including epileptic seizures, and I died of a cardiac arrest from it.
Died?
Yes.
You seem fairly alive now.
Right? So I was clinically dead for 25 seconds.
Oh, wow.
And I had an out-of-body experience.
Wow, where'd you go?
To the other dimension.
Wow.
Literally. Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like hovering over my body, and by that time I was like, okay, I need to change something. I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know when, but this is just horrible. Like I'm not gonna die again from that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
And so then I started trying acupuncture, and I tried homeopathy, and I tried like all of this first level alternative medicine. And then a few years back I thought like, okay, there's something else. Like there's another layer. There's something else that makes this horrible, right? And so I started looking deeper and deeper and deeper, and then I found, right, there's a lot of toxicity that triggers a lot, and that also brings this whole pressure.
Were you keeping a migraine journal where you kind of you noted when you had them and what was related to try and figure it out? I have a
really, really great app. And that app also was the first app that tries to support migraine studies, because there are barely studies with actually people who have consistent migraines. And so they ask you if you want to participate in those studies and give the data that you record to them, so they are able to create more studies scientifically. And they are amazing. I love this app, and I love the people behind them, and they are great. And it's the first app that actually also helped me to see patterns and to see fluctuations in when is it better, when is it worse, and what have I done before. Because the thing is, you don't just get migraines. Yeah. So it's like a time of 3 to 7 days before that you need to take into account, right? And so there was a lot of toxicity.
7 days?
Yeah.
How can you remember what you did 7 days ago? That's where you have to have an app or a journal.
Yeah, totally.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I started to just reduce it. Cut out the people that were too toxic. Literally, like, and obviously I didn't cut them, but you know what I mean, right? I just distance myself from them completely.
Now, when you say a toxic person, what does that mean for you?
So, I think the best to describe it is, do you know when you are with a person and you don't really know where you stand with them? Have you ever had that?
Mm-hmm.
So, if you know a person and you know they don't like you, then you know where you stand. And you know how to behave with that, right? If you are with a person and you know they love you, you love them, you know exactly how to do, okay, then you know how to behave. But if you are with a person that's like, there's a word and I forgot it, obviously. How's it called, this word? There's like...
People pleaser? Wishy-washy?
No, it's like, I think it was A. It's like where you just don't know what's going on. And like they don't show you. It's like this average level of just being, but you don't know, do they actually like me? Are they just here because they get
giving
something
confusing
from you?
signals.
Yeah. Exactly. And this is toxic.
Or maybe they're being passive aggressive. Would that be part of it?
Totally.
Yeah.
There's a lot coming. Like, I had friends where I literally said, like, I was with them for 12 years. I love them. But when I was thinking about it, I was like, do they actually would celebrate me when I'm successful?
Or dead.
Right? Would they come to my funeral?
Yes.
Right? Would they
when you had your 25-second funeral.
Right? would they then be like, oh, it was great? Or would they be like, yeah, that's a shame, you know, but whatever. Like, you never know, right? And so if you don't know they would actually help you up when you're on the floor and celebrate you when you're right up there, then you should get the F out.
So you started distancing yourself or cutting them out.
Completely, yeah.
And what effect did that have on your migraines?
Literally, I like the last 3 years I spent in Germany before I left. I had them 5 times a week, right? About between 3 and 5 times. Really hard. I had to take medications all the time. I was only on drugs, basically. And then suddenly it was...
like some of those people on the street.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And then it was suddenly like it get...
Except they got high and you just had headaches or migraines.
Yeah. I wish, yeah. And I was just like...
Because migraines are far more than a headache, right?
That exactly.
It's totally disabling. You can hardly move.
Yeah. And to be honest, I always say, like, if people ask me, oh, do you have headaches? I always say, I really wish it was only headaches. Because it's so much more and people just don't understand. I'm not myself when I have migraines. I can barely control what I'm saying. I can barely control where I am, who I am, what, like... It's really, really hard.
Maybe you're slipping into another dimension when you have a migraine.
I do think so.
Like you're kind of pulled out of your body and it's painful.
Yeah, because it's a part of my brain that shuts down. And I can feel it and I know exactly, okay, this is the part, like I'm really aware of it now, which is great. Because then I can kind of control it for myself a little bit, that I'm not hurting people. That hadn't happened before. That was really...
You were hurting people?
Verbally.
Oh, verbally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they tried to help me and they didn't know how and they were doing it wrong. And then I would like be really passive aggressive or really...
Or aggressive aggressive.
Very aggressive aggressive as well. I would just tell them to F off and to leave me alone because I couldn't communicate anymore, right? Like, basically the speech impairment was so strong that the only thing I could say was like, can you just F off, basically. So, yeah, leaving that behind me, changing my lifestyle really helped a lot. And the environment.
When you say your lifestyle, what did you change there?
So 8 years ago, I stopped drinking alcohol.
Oh.
That's a big thing. A lot
Another
of people
toxin.
Yeah. Yeah, right? Another toxin, that's true. I stopped smoking as well. I did smoke
Another
cigarettes.
toxin.
Another toxin. Yeah. It's all coming back to toxicity, I think. I stopped. That's really funny, though. I did decrease a lot of sugar intake.
Oh, another toxin. Yeah. See a pattern here.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
Toxic
is.
people removed or
Yeah.
distance? Toxic substances you were ingesting
Yeah.
removed?
Toxic environments for me as well.
What now? Tell us what you mean by a toxic environment.
An environment that doesn't support your growth.
Hmm.
So if you don't feel like you can be yourself, if you don't feel like you can go outside and just live life as you want to, that's not supporting for me, and it's toxic.
And where was this toxic environment? Was it
For example.
Germany? We're not allowed to say it loud.
Well, I'm just in Germany right now, so
Yes, they.
well, it's not Germany in total, but the thing is, like, the way we live in Germany is like this huge pressure and this huge you have to be someone, you have to have all
Oh,
the
you
money.
mean the rat race? Where
Yeah,
you're
the
supposed to
hamster
have
wheel.
the hamster wheel, yeah, where you're supposed to like work hard in a job and then
Be
be someone
someone.
and get a big mortgage for a big
Have the car.
apartment,
Don't forget the
have a
car.
big fancy
The
car.
German car.
Must be a German car, yes. And you
Yeah.
have to buy things every week. Have to keep up with the family next door, and yeah. And
Have a family.
if you have children, yeah, you're supposed to get married, have a family,
Yeah.
and then your children are supposed to be in the little baby rat race too.
Yeah.
They have to
And if
compete.
they're not like talking, walking, running, and be already a gymnast by the age of 1, like, who are you kids,
Oh, then you're a bad German.
Parent, yeah. Also.
And a bad
You're
parent.
the worst. Yeah. So
wow.
I mean, I'm probably over
I thought
exaggerating.
Germany was all relaxed and hippies. I guess I was wrong.
I guess so too.
You guess?
Yeah.
So too. So there's a lot of. It's the. I don't know. Yeah, the rat race. I was going to say capitalist something, but I don't know if it's even capitalist. I mean.
I'm not sure though if that, like, it's really like how we grow up. I think it's a very different feeling to grow up here and to visit here. It's
Maybe you were banging your head on this hamster wheel as it went round and round. Every time it went round, it went clonk, clonk, clonk.
I was literally thrown like a hamster in a washing machine, for real though. It was like and then washed over and soaked my, like, brainwashed.
So how did you escape this toxic environment of Germany?
So what happened was I was traveling always alone, right? I started 13 years ago, like basically shortly after my cardiac arrest. I was like, okay, no, this is stupid, so I'm gonna start traveling. And I always I always traveled solo, always. Just
why is that?
It's a good question. I think I'm just not a person to compromise much on my goals. And I did take a trip once with girlfriends, and it was nice, but different.
Nice.
No, it was a great trip, but it was really different to what I was expecting.
Oh.
And so I decided I don't want to make compromises on my expectations anymore. For this.
Why should you?
Yeah, right? Thank you. Good to know. Yeah, and so why should I?
I mean, if you're not hurting anyone else, and I can't see how traveling alone is hurting other people. So.
No. No, I don't. I don't think I do hurt anyone with that, other than people missing me here in Germany.
Well, that's their problem.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell them. So I traveled, and it was in Cambodia and Angkor Wat.
Oh, okay.
In 2012.
Yes. Wow.
That I was standing under one of the little entrances.
Yes.
And it was an effing monsoon rain. I'm not sure if I can swear, so I'm just saying effing. I would say the whole word.
You can swear, it's fine.
Great.
Yeah.
So it was
makes you feel good. We don't want you to feel constrained and have a migraine.
Yeah. Been there, done that, got a t-shirt. Yes. So there was the biggest monsoon rain in my travels until then. Had a lot more, but so I was standing, and obviously I got trained and pretty much swam away. And there was a Portuguese guy next to me, Pedro, still in contact, a great friend. And we were talking, and he's like, yeah, and we talked about travel. And then that moment I kind of realized, like, why the heck am I gonna go back to this life that's feeling like a prison to me? I feel like a parrot in a little cage,
A parrot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to repeat everything that's going
Oh.
to being put in my brain, but not having an own opinion.
Mm.
And suddenly I felt like, oh my god, I can't breathe anymore.
So you wanted to be a thought-independent parrot?
Or better, not a parrot anymore.
Don't be a parrot.
Yeah.
You wanted to be Monique.
So I just decided on the plane home, I was like, okay, you know what? I give myself 6 months and I'm going to leave. I don't know where, I don't know what, I don't know how.
Did you have your own business at that point?
No,
or you were in
nothing.
a job?
Okay. Yeah. I had a job. So I said, I'm going to save money. And in the 6 months, I figure out what I'm going to do.
Well, that's good.
And
good
I
plan.
did, and I left.
Yay!
And I became a scuba dive instructor.
A scuba dive instructor? Wow. That sounds pretty free down in the ocean.
Oh, God, it was the best.
And people can't talk to you when they're underwater doing the scuba.
They can only freak out and
yeah, they can
get
freak
your
out.
regulator out of your mouth and kick you in the face. But
they can do that, but there's no talking.
No.
They can make hand signs.
Or you can ignore that. But then when you're an instructor, you have to save lives. So it's like...
Yes.
But you can ignore it for a second. Yeah.
And the fish are very beautiful.
Oh my god. The manta rays.
Mm.
So I did that.
Mm. And did your migraines keep going? Or...
You know, funny enough, by that time, yes, and I tell you why. I was in a German company. Was a
German company. So you left Germany, but you stayed in a German company.
Diving school, yeah.
Yes.
And the boss was very... I don't know if you know this word in English as well, but it's choleric.
Choleric. It sounds familiar. What does it mean?
So in Germany, we use this word to describe a person who is randomly freaking out and getting triggered really, really easily. And literally just...
Sounds like many Americans.
Right? Bit of a maniac as well. And so... I don't know how to... Like, yeah. So, and he got... Literally, he came in the office super happy. Everything was fine. Like, hey, Monique, you did such great work. 10 minutes later, doors flying open. He would scream at me. He would insult the heck out of me. And I was sitting there, I was like, what? What? 10 minutes ago, you just said, like, I'm doing such a great job, and now I'm the worst person you ever met. Like,
sounds toxic.
Very toxic. Hence, the migraines kept going. So I moved away. Kept going, went to Australia. And you know, the thing is also, I needed to understand for myself that I brought myself into these toxic environments as well. And I didn't know how to see them beforehand, right? So I needed to learn how to, with my intuition especially.
I knew we were going to get to intuition.
Right? But especially like to listen to it. And how to even find out, like, a lot of people don't know, well, what's my intuition? How can I listen to it? How does it show up, right? And I think it's different for many, many people. It took me so long to understand it. And mine is super funny. Mine is so not German and so chaotic. Basically, it shows up last minute.
Maybe you have Brazilian intuition.
I think so. Really, because that's actually, Brazilian. I think so, yeah. So it's it shows up last minute. Very last minute. It's really loud. And it's when I wake up, I speak it out loud.
Wow.
Without me even know. It's like...
It comes out of your mouth, but you didn't know you were going to say it?
Yeah.
What does it say?
When I'm waking up. So the last time it said, like, don't move to Lisbon. I'm like, oh my god. I had that before. And
so you were planning to move to Lisbon, but you just woke up and this voice came out of your mouth.
Yeah. And then I didn't move.
Wow.
Lisbon.
Does it speak in English or German?
English.
English, okay.
I do most of it. I dream in English. I speak in English all the time. Like, yeah. And the first time when I did that, and I spoke out like, don't move to Hanoi. I moved to Hanoi. I didn't listen.
Oh.
And I got really, really, really big time scammed and robbed. And I lost all of my money and my bank robbed.
Wow.
And that's when I opened my business.
Okay.
Yep.
So you've learned to listen to your intuition.
Now I did, yeah.
Yeah. And then how's this affected your migraines?
So when I'm around people and I really don't feel like that's like, when I feel it's restricting me somehow and there is like this cage around me again, and I'm just saying, oh, it's really nice, but you know, I feel like I want to go home or do something else. And I'm just distancing myself.
Mm.
When I know there are environments that don't feel well for me, like smoky bars with loud music where I can't talk to people, but then I'm supposed to talk to a lot of people, and I know the sensations are so overwhelming for my nervous system, I'm just gonna log out of it. I'm just gonna say thank you. I would love to be with you, but I'm not.
It's not a fit for me.
Right. And so just prioritizing what my needs are, and then feeling the body sensations of, sometimes it's, if I meet a person and they seem to be toxic, then I feel it here in my solar plexus.
Your solar plexus down here. Yeah.
And it's getting really tense, and I feel like I can't breathe properly.
Oh, wow. Oh.
So when I know that's going to happen, I'm like, okay, something is wrong with it. They can be really nice.
On
but
the
I know
surface.
something is, but I know something's wrong with this person, I'm going to be really distant.
Mm.
And it helped me actually to not be fucked over with my business a year ago.
Really? How?
Because I met one of these people, and I felt there was something really wrong. I tried to tell my friends. They did not quite understand what it is that I mean, and they couldn't see it. They couldn't feel it. I said, I cannot describe it to you. And they went into business with this person, and it's all...
What happened?
But he took all the money, fucked them over, didn't deliver, and run.
That sounds quite bad. Yeah.
Really bad, yeah. It was...
So you avoided that because you listened to your intuition?
Yeah. It was, for some of my friends, it was like a 5 or 6 figure loss.
5 or 6 figures? Wow. They could have bought a small apartment in Germany with that.
No.
No? Very small. A broom cupboard, maybe. A car?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Could have bought a car.
Okay. Or 2. Yeah.
Or 2, yeah. Wow.
But yeah. So, got myself out of that one.
That's great. So you've learned to listen to your intuition, your migraines have gone away. You've removed toxicity in all its forms from your life. Almost. What's left?
I think some emotional baggage that I have to remove.
Some baggage to clean up. Okay. Well, that's good insight.
Yeah.
Sure you clean that up?
Yeah. I'm on it.
Yay. So, what would you say to people who aren't sure, whether they should listen to their intuition?
I feel like society is always teaching us not to listen to ourselves, not to trust ourselves, and to be brainwashed into this standard formats that society is trying to get us to live by, right? What I say is, screw that. You really just have to trust yourself. And it's hard. I know that because I haven't been trusting myself for over 30 years. Because I was always told what you're doing is wrong. You're whatever, you're good enough in all kind of, you're not good enough in all kind of forms is what I've been told whenever, right? And then as a self-fulfilling prophecy, I got it confirmed with whatever I was doing, right? So, but since I removed this toxicity and literally just started to listen, okay, so how does it feel for me? How's my body reacting? So for some people, it could be a tense neck, tense shoulders, teeth grinding, right? Yeah, I do that at night sometimes if I'm stressed. So if I wake up with pain here, I know exactly, okay, something was wrong yesterday, so you need to figure it out. So I might sit down and journal about it or just think, Sometimes the best work you can do is sit down and think about it. Just let the thoughts run through. And then it could be in the solar plexus, in the stomach. It's really a big nervous system, intrinsic nervous system that shows you what's going on. And just listen to it, because your body, your mind, your spirit is never wrong. They know exactly what's really good for you. And I've been going against it for over 30 years, and you better bet there was a lot of things going wrong. Yeah.
Well, great.
When I started to listen, now it's like falling into place.
It sounds so easy when you talk about it.
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
You just listen
good.
to your body, you remove toxic things from your life. Maybe you
Yeah.
have a bit of peace and quiet so you can hear your inner voice.
It really sounds easy. It's definitely not. It's a lot of hard work. Especially this fear that's always coming over you. What if I need this person again that I'm cutting out or distance myself from, or whatever? You don't need anyone. The only person that you really need is yourself. And the good thing is that I know you know that if you make space in your life from something that doesn't serve you, you open up space for something that will way more or be way better for you, right? The universe is surfing.
Yes.
So don't worry about cutting things out. There will be always a replacement for it. So a vacuum is going to be filled, right? And it may sound easy now. It definitely is a lot of hard work, which is why I would go step by step. Unless you're a person you go full in, then do it. Just make the full cut. But I did it step by step mostly. And I'd say take your time. Take your time also with feeling the feelings that you have. Don't suppress the emotions. If you feel sad about cutting out a person, feel sad, because it is sad. Like, I cut out my 2 best friends for over 12 years. And I was sad for a freaking year. Because it's been 12 years I spent time with them. And I put a lot of effort in those friendships. And all I got out of it was...
migraines.
And I did learn a lot. So you always want to see also the lesson that you get from it, right?
Yeah.
At least I do. But I did get a lot of migraines.
Well, at least they didn't rip you off in your business.
No, right? But they also didn't support me. So...
Well, those are great insights. So if people want to find you online, what's the best way for them to do that?
So the best way is just to go on my website. It's Monique Lindner.Com. It's my name.
We better spell out all of that.
Right.
M-O.
That's Monique. And then the name just after it is Lindner.com.
All right. And what is it your business does?
So I'm a high performance and human optimization coach. And what I actually do is I'm creating a life beside your work. So if you're an entrepreneur, way too busy, way too much into your work, if you're feeling guilty, or if you're feeling like you're missing out on something if you don't work, but you're on the edge of burnout, or you're about to just crash and you're not inspired by your work anymore, then it's time to call me and I help you to fix that.
You're the work disorganization angel who comes in and makes it all organized, gives you more time in your life and business.
Yeah.
By being super efficient. And you don't even have to have migraines to come see you.
Exactly. And as I say, I'm your secret weapon to efficiency.
Oh, well, great.
Yes.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show today, Monique.
Thank you, for inviting me.
Yes. And good luck with your business and your toxin-free life.
Yeah, thank you.